Congress just changed the American housing market in a big way, and most people have no idea it even happened. The new law took effect earlier this month, on July 11th, 2026. And here's the thing. Millions of Americans don't know it's already the law of the land. What matters most to you and me is this. This law is going to affect older adults more than almost anyone else. So that's what I want to break down for you today. And there's actually a lot to like in here. Let me give you the highlights before we dig in. Number one, there's going to be money available for home repairs so that seniors can age in place safely. Number two, more downsizing options are coming onto the market. So if you want to move out of your current house into something smaller and less expensive, you'll have more to choose from. Number three, seniors who rent are going to get stronger rental assistance. Number four, manufactured and modular homes are going to be more available. And that matters a lot for rural communities dealing with a serious housing shortage. And number five, if you live in a big city and you're on a lower income, there's going to be more housing help through vouchers. All of this is happening right now, and I want to walk you through the details. Real quick, I'm Tom Miller. On this channel, I break down finance and taxes in plain English for people who are planning for retirement or already living it. If that's you, do me a favor and hit subscribe, because this is exactly the kind of change you don't want to miss. Okay, let's get into it. So first, let's answer the basic questions. What is this bill? When did it happen, and why did it fly under the radar? Let's start at the beginning. The bill is called H.R. 6644, if you want to look it up yourself. Its official name is the 21st Century Road to Housing Act. ROAD stands for Renewing Opportunity in the American Dream. It officially became law on July 11th. Now here's an interesting wrinkle. President Trump didn't actually sign it, but under the Constitution, when a bill sits on the president's desk for 10 days without a signature, it becomes law anyway. And that's exactly what happened here. It still passed with overwhelming support. We're talking 85-5 in the Senate and 358-32 in the House. You almost never see numbers like that anymore. This was genuinely bipartisan. A large majority of Congress wanted this done because it's obvious we're in a housing crisis. Homes are more expensive than ever. Big companies have been buying up houses and driving up both rents and prices, and something had to give. So if you're an older American, what does this actually mean for you? Here's why this hits close to home. For most older Americans, housing is both your single biggest retirement expense and your biggest financial asset at the same time. Housing researchers estimate that more than 12.4 million households headed by someone 65 or older, that's about 34% of all older households, spend more than 30% of their income just on housing, 30% on housing alone. And here's the other number that matters. Surveys consistently find that around 75% of adults 50 and older say they'd prefer to stay in their current home as they age. That's exactly why the aging in place piece of this bill is the part I'm most excited to tell you about. Because whether you can afford home repairs, find a smaller home, get rental help, stay in your rural community, or even help your kids and grandkids become homeowners, this law touches all of it. So let's get into the specifics. If you took this entire housing bill like I did and read the whole thing, then pulled out the top 5 things older adults should actually care about, here's what they'd be. Number one, it could make aging in place safer. There's a new whole home repairs pilot that could pay for repairs and safety improvements. Think grab bars, ramps, wider doorways, safer bathrooms, weatherization, and removing health hazards from the home. This would run through a federally funded program that could start rolling out fairly soon. Number two, more downsizing options. The law encourages accessory dwelling units, duplexes, townhouses, manufactured homes, modular homes, and converting empty buildings into housing. Over time, that gives older homeowners a lot more choices when they no longer want or need a big house. This is one of the biggest frustrations I hear from you. You want to downsize into something smaller with a lower payment, but there's just nothing out there to move into. This is aimed right at that. Number three, stronger support for senior renters. And I want you to notice that word, stronger. The law works to preserve public and rural rental housing, improve the Housing Choice Voucher Program, and this is a good one. It sets up a complaint resource for tenants of large corporate landlords. One of the hardest things about renting from a giant corporation is that when they treat you badly, what are you supposed to do? They've got the money and the lawyers, and you're just one person. This bill finally gives renters a place to push back. Number 4, it may help your children and grandchildren buy a home. Large institutional investors that control at least 350 single-family homes will face restrictions on buying even more. That could leave more existing homes on the market for regular individual buyers. The catch is that this restriction phases in over the months after the law took effect rather than overnight. So it's not instant, but it's real. If you've been hearing that Wall Street is buying up homes by the thousands to control the market, this is designed to slow that down. Number 5, it cuts the red tape on building. The law aims to remove barriers and update local zoning so builders can put up new housing faster, especially lower-cost housing. So if you're thinking about downsizing or you're just tired of seeing so few options out there, the whole goal is to get more homes built quickly. Okay, those are the highlights. Now let me go a little deeper, because there's more in here that's worth knowing. First again, this is now law. The Senate passed it 85-5. The House followed right behind at 358-32, and it took effect July 11th. You will not find another bill in the last few years with real teeth that had this much agreement behind it. Second, the whole point is to build more housing. The law tries to reduce construction delays, make federal housing programs easier to use, and push communities to allow more homes. Some economists estimate the country is short millions of homes. A few White House estimates have put that number as high as 10 million. That gap is a big reason prices have climbed so fast. Third, those large institutional investors will face purchasing restrictions. A company or investment group controlling at least 350 single-family homes generally won't be allowed to buy more existing single-family homes. Now, I'll be honest with you about the loophole I see here. 350 homes is counted per entity, so instead of pooling their money into one big fund, wealthy investors could split into separate individuals, and each one could go get their own 350 homes. It's a compromise, and I can absolutely see Congress coming back to tighten this up if people start gaming it. And one more thing on that, the law does not force these corporations to sell the homes they already own. It only restricts future purchases. That's part of why I wish the restriction kicked in immediately instead of phasing in, because in the meantime, they know they get to keep everything they've already got. Next, communities are going to get guidance on zoning. HUD has to publish best practices for state and local governments that want to allow more duplexes, townhomes, apartments, and other housing types like modular and manufactured homes. The federal government is encouraging reform and handing local governments a playbook. Housing approvals should also get faster. The law streamlines some federal environmental reviews, especially for infill development and federally supported projects, to cut delays and costs. Here's one I'm genuinely excited about. Empty buildings could be turned into housing. A pilot program will help communities convert vacant commercial and industrial properties into affordable homes and help them use certain federal grants to build on publicly owned, underused land. The government owns an enormous amount of land, and some of it is being opened up for housing. Then there's that whole home repairs pilot I mentioned. Grants could cover accessibility, safety, major repairs, energy efficiency, and weatherization. And it's aimed squarely at helping lower-income seniors age in place safely. That's a big deal. Another one, small-dollar mortgages could get easier to obtain. HUD may set up a pilot for mortgages of $100,000 or less, potentially including help with the down payment, closing costs, appraisals, and title insurance. Here's why that matters. If you find a house for $100,000 and only need to borrow $70,000, a lot of lenders just aren't interested in a loan that small. This is meant to fix that, and it could really help seniors who've been priced out of modestly priced homes. Manufactured and modular housing gets more support too. The law modernizes the financing rules, raises loan limits, supports accessory dwelling units, and tries to reduce barriers for modular builders. And manufactured home communities could get help with repairs and preservation, infrastructure, home replacement, accessibility improvements, weatherization, and resident services. On public housing, the law raises the rental assistance demonstration cap by 100,000 units, protects tenants in converted properties, and makes it easier for landlords and properties to take part in the housing voucher program, which had been more restricted before. The goal is to get more people access to vouchers, especially seniors. And there's improved rural disaster assistance in there as well. So here's the bottom line. As far as I'm concerned, this is the most serious swing at the housing problem we've seen in a long time, and it goes out of its way to help older adults and seniors. The people who've been priced out of the market, who feel stuck in a house that's too big because they can't find anywhere to downsize to, who need rental or home buying help, or who could never get a small, low-cost mortgage. Real programs are coming down the pipeline from HUD to address exactly those problems. That's what I wanted to bring you today. And before I let you go, one quick reminder that has nothing to do with this bill, but everything to do with protecting your money. If you're on Medicare, remember that your plan can change every single year. The plan you signed up for can shift, your prescription drug tier can change, and your doctor or hospital can quietly drop out of your network. And you often won't find out until you get a surprise. So when open enrollment comes around, don't just assume last year's plan still fits you. Actually review it. A few minutes checking your plan can save you real money and a lot of headaches down the road. If you got value out of this, do me a favor. Hit that like button, hit subscribe, and most importantly, turn on the notification bell so you're the first to know every time I break down a change like this one. I'm Tom Miller. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.